Hello everyone, my name is Keith McGregor. It's with great pride I get to introduce our host for today's webinar. I've had the pleasure of working with this man for 5 years now, and I continue to learn from him. He is an undefeated world kickboxing champion with titles including Canadian Kickboxing Champion, North American Kickboxing Champion, World Shootboxing Champion, and World Freestyle Champion. This was the springboard which ultimately led him in 1992 to open Champions Martial Arts in North Vancouver, now the largest martial arts school in all of Canada. This led to yet another springboard. He is the founder and CEO of Champions Way and Perfect Mind, the world's largest martial arts software provider. Which brings us to today. He'll be speaking about his newest creation, Mr. Marketer. It's with great pleasure I introduce to you Master Farid Dordar.
Thank you, Keith, for a great introduction. I'm excited to be here. I think I haven't had a chance to really talk to our clients who are really using Mr. Marketer. I'm glad to be able to talk about the product a little bit, but also about your businesses, being able to really go over what we've done with the product, but also what is it you need to do in order to improve your business when it comes to gaining new clients, keeping your members, and all that. So let's begin with your goal. This is actually a copy of our brand new 24 hours report that it will be released to all of you very soon, shortly, I think within the next week or two. It's a report that I get for my own school. And that is for end of May. This report actually comes to you every day, and you'll be able to see your school numbers when it comes to your total active numbers, how many leads you generated this month, and what's your attendance like, how much overdue you have, and a whole bunch of other information that helps you to make decisions daily on your business. So instead of waiting for your reports, and for those one of you who are not used to checking out your reports regularly or your dashboard, this will be a great reminder of what's going on in your business. Last month, May, we did over $90,000 in our school. I'm really excited and happy for this. And the reason is not because of the amount of the dollar, but also the fact that, I don't have to be in my school and my school is still performing. That says a lot about, our system, our instructors, the people we work with, as well as the Mr. Marketer that we have implemented to our school about 6 months ago. But what is your goal? Where do you want to be in the next 6 months? It's great to be able to set goals regularly, and that way, you can measure your success and your failure against your goals and see how do you have to adjust yourself, your business, your processes in order to achieve your goals. Where do you want to be in the next 2 months or 3 months? You should have always short-term goals and long-term goals. The long-term goals, I don't think should be over 3 years, but your short-term goals should be 3 months, 6 months, and a year. Once you set your goal, it all comes to the kind of person you are. I talk to a lot of business owners across the country, and I see the successful one, and I see not very successful ones, but the ones who really try hard. It's about learning. It's not about being smart. It's about educating yourself. It's about working on yourself to become your best first. That way you can implement the greatest things in your own business. We are, if you think of it, in the business of educating our members, our students. And that comes by ourselves being very balanced, having a balanced life, having a balanced thought. And that starts by really looking at yourself in the mirror every day and say, what kind of person I am? What are the things that I got to work on to get better? And when I think about that myself personally, I always come back to one story that I heard about, I would say, 10 years ago. And this story was Tony Robbins' story, where he was driving his crappy car in the highway, and he was blaming himself for everything that was going wrong in his life. His business was not doing good. His relationship, he wasn't doing good in his relationship. Everything he seen that is falling apart. All of a sudden, as he's driving his car also breaks down. And so he had to actually park to the side and go to one of these parking on the side of the highway. So he parks there, and he looks at his life, and he says, wow, I didn't need this. Everything's going wrong, and now my car broke down too in the middle of a highway. What am I going to do? He said, at that time, when I looked at myself in the mirror of the car, I saw myself and I realized, what is it really wrong with me? That was the point, actually, he changes his life from that moment on. And one thing that I learned from him was that, he said, everything was about me. I felt so sorry for myself. I only thought that, things are happening bad to me and no one else around me. So feeling sorry for yourself is not a good idea. It's not a good thing to do, especially as a leader of a business, a company, dealing with your students and members, being able to motivate other people to become their best. That's the worst position you can really be in. And I think that happens to all of us. As a human being, like once in a while we start thinking everything that's going wrong is only happening to us. But that's not true. When you look around and see there are other people who are in worse situations than us. Now that can happen also in the business. You can sit back and say, this month I didn't get any leads. My number of students not going up. I'm losing a lot of students. They're canceling. And my revenue is not going up. Those kind of thoughts and feelings is not going to help you. It's going to actually make you worse. And it's okay if you feel like that once in a while. It's okay to fail. It's okay not to win. But it's not okay to feel sorry for yourself. And I've learned to really adjust myself, and sometimes that takes the whole day to do that, but I'm very much aware of that. And when things really go wrong, I start, instead of feeling sorry for myself, I start thinking about how am I going to fix it? What's the solution to the problem? And sometimes, to be honest, I don't come up with any solution. So I just, forget about it for a day or two and go back to it again. So I just want to share that with you. First step, we created Mr. Marketer to really help you to not really generate leads only, but to help with your marketing automation. And I'm going to explain a little bit later on what really marketing automation is and what it means to your business. But before I get there, we really need to also pay attention to the way we run our business. It's not all about marketing, but it's about also having a great service in your school, being able to teach, motivate, and bring the members back to your business. That's really important. And we might all think that we're the greatest teachers and instructors in the world, but the reality is you have to look at your stats and numbers and tell yourself, are you really doing good? I call that churn rate, where, if you have 100 students and if you're losing 5% of that student every month, so your churn rate is 5%. So you would have 95 students. Now, if you have 100 students and you're losing 5% of that every month, then you would need to get at least 6 to start growing, and then 7, and then 8. Now, as you grow and you become bigger and you have 200 or 300 students, 5%, it becomes a bigger deal. In our school, that we have about 600 students, actually, to be exact, is 576 at this time. Losing 10 students or 5% of the student body, that's about 30 students. In order to grow and gain more students, we would need to bring at least 35 to 40 students every single month. So you really work backwards. Once you start setting your goal and knowing where you want to be in your school, then you start looking at first your churn rate and making sure your retention is in place. And work towards improving that. Mr. Marketer actually helps you with that, with a lot of educational content that goes out to your students. But you could also think about it and come up with ideas to improve that. Knowing that percentage is important. I would say an average good percentage should be 5%. But if you're at 6 or 7 and 8, that's okay, depending on the number of students you have in your business. But think about that and start working on that, because it doesn't matter how many students you get in front of your door. If they're leaving, then you're losing a lot of money here, because you're spending a lot of time and effort and money in your marketing efforts. And at the same time, you're bringing all these members in and doing your extension conference and registering them, and then they're leaving. So that's not healthy. Marketing automation really is all about multiple things. If I want to call what marketing automation is, I would first start thinking about inbound marketing. So let me talk a little bit about inbound marketing, what that is. I don't know if you guys have heard, there's a new rule in Canada called CASL that they're trying to stop people from sending emails and spam other people over their emails. So there's this new rule in Canada that if you want to send anybody an email, if they're not your customer already, what you would need to do is first get their permission. And that's growing because, people don't want to get spam or, emails that is not related to them. With the world of technology, it's people are getting bombarded with information. So inbound marketing was born to fight that. And the way you do that is, it's simple. Instead of going out there and getting thousands of names and lists and start spamming people, you start educating people and you try to create interest. One good thing about martial arts school is that we have a lot of materials and thoughts, and we have a lot to offer to our students and members. So if we can turn those things into proper content and sending them properly to our leads, on our Facebook pages, to our fans, that will create interest. That is called inbound marketing. When you create an interest and someone comes to you, that is inbound marketing, because you're helping other people come and find out more about your service and join your newsletter subscription, and then you'll be able to continually pitch your product or service to them. So in the last 5-6 years, I would say inbound marketing is becoming huge, and not only for really membership type businesses, but for all kind of businesses, including ourselves as a software company here. And in order to really understand it, you have to really educate yourself what really inbound means and how do you really create engagement with your visitors, with your leads, with your fans on your Facebook or your other social networks. So in order to achieve such a thing, we thought, create a service called Mr.Marketer that we can do that for you. Some of the content that we work on in Mr.Marketer, if you look at it as a company, it actually cost us over $250,000 to create them, to make this product and having it ready for you guys to be able to start using. So think of inbound marketing as a new way of growing your business, because the way you do business is really changing. And in order to do a successful inbound marketing, one big component of it is lead nurturing. So you get all these people coming from different sites, from your Facebook, the friends of your students, from families, from friends, and they hear about you or they read an article about how to deal with bullying at the school for your child, how to increase your kid's confidence in the world, and you have all this content out there, and people come and fill up the forms because they're trying to get your ebook or to start reading what you've got to say. But these people, they're not really qualified leads. We call them still lead, but they're really not qualified. And qualified lead, I call the leads that really interested to actually join your school. They pick up the phone, they call you and ask for your introductory lessons, or what time is your classes, and I want to start them. That I call a qualified lead, or some people call it hot lead, people who are ready to really join immediately. But as far as all other leads that are not really qualified, don't have the interest here to join your business, you still have to nurture them. You still need to be in touch with them. You still need to communicate with them. You still need to once in a while to send them promotional materials about your business, about your school, and why they should join you. That lead nurturing is becoming a skill in the world of technology and marketing. It's a big deal in marketing automation. You have to be able to really nurture your leads properly and taking them through steps and taking them from, just a person as a fan in your Facebook page, somebody who liked your page, to a person who really want to come and take time and train in your school for twice a week. So lead nurturing is really important. But at the same time, if you think of it, what's the number one best way to bring students to your school? Personally, I say referral. If you ask me, or for my own school, or asking some of the successful schools in the country, that would be the first campaign, and it would stand on top. Is always referral. If people are happy with service, they would love to bring other people to that business. They talk about it, they brag about it, and they're more than happy to promote it. But sometimes you need to ask. Sometimes if you sit back and say if they're happy, they'll just go tell their friends. That's not really true, because they go home and they start getting busy with other things. So you got to really ask. And so part of some of the member nurturing that we do with Mr. Marketer, that's the goal. Going through a channel of your current students and turning them into more students. So if I have 50 students and I can turn my student into 75 right through my own students, that would be the best way to do that. That I call member nurturing. So you got to be able to nurture your students, ask for referral, and being in touch with them more often than twice a week. Yes, they come to your school twice a week or 3 times a week, and they see you and they talk to you perhaps, and then they go home. But it shouldn't end there. I think you should still keep connecting with your students and members for 2 reasons. It actually keeps them happier when they see that from you, when they receive an email that I missed you and you didn't show up in the class. And at the same time, it gets them really prepared for you to ask them for their friend's address, their friend's information, bringing them to the school, and getting this really referral marketing going in within your own business. So member nurturing becomes important. Now, member online engagement is about being able, once you start getting these leads or all these fans who start liking your Facebook, it's getting them to really engage with your business. There's a lot of people who out there, they scroll down their Facebook page and start reading information, but they really never get engaged. So, those people might never get engaged if you don't have the right material or the right content. And so that's important. Having a marketing automation software as well as a service that you can actually go there, as well as you learning how, keeping your online audience engaged with your business, it's very important. All right, so I want to talk to you briefly about this. I was talking to a client of ours who is a Mr.Marketer client, and I talked to him over a coffee for an hour, and I realized that a lot of people are understanding what Mr.Marketer really is. And so I want to really clarify that. I think a lot of people think Mr.Marketer is about getting leads. Well, yes, partly, but not really. It's not all about getting leads. It's about educating your leads. It's about being able to ask your current students for more referral. It's about keeping your students going. It's about something that you need to do in this type of business on a regular basis. I mean, in the past 10 years ago, no, you didn't need any type of marketing automations. You had a great relationship with your students, and you would teach great classes, and you would have your yellow page ads. But today, consumers, your students out there, are getting bombarded with information from other martial arts schools, from other type of sports. So if you're not out there, you're going to start losing all these members. And so marketing automation is a must for any type of business that wants to stay in business in the next 5 years. It's not something that you would do only to really generate leads only, but it's a must. If you don't do it, you're not going to be able to have and run a healthy business. But beside that, what are other things that you need to focus on to get your business going? So as I was talking to the gentleman, I said, okay, I had my iPad with me. I said, let me go and check your stuff. He said, you know what, Farid, I'm not really generating leads. I said, so let's go check out your stuff. And so I typed first name, and we went to Google and searched and looked at the result, right? And then I was interested because looking at my own result, though I don't look at maybe this information all the time, but I think for the guys who have less than 300 students, you know, they should be looking at these things all the time. So I thought it was important for me to actually talk about it in this marketing automation webinar. And so let's go over that. This is my own school, first of all, and you know, we're there as number one. And I actually typed in Google martial arts. I didn't say martial arts North Vancouver. I just say martial arts, and this is the result we came up with. We're number one up there, and I think one thing that was important that helped us on the places to be up there was our reviews. So how many of you are really doing reviews? Have you asked your student to go out there and do some reviews for you? Have you given them some incentives to do it? Maybe a private lesson, maybe a seminar in your school, you know, and maybe a little gift. If you haven't done that yet, I would suggest you immediately start doing that. Make sure your reviews are up there and continuously your students are doing the reviews. And thinking about that, I thought, you know, we should have some content within Mr.Marketer that does that for you. So we're going to probably create something for you that will be sent to the students automatically and ask them to give you a review. And we will probably send the content to all the students who are A students. Rated A means they are happy students. Obviously, I don't want to send a review request to someone who is my C students or non-active. So we have to be careful there, because you could get some bad review as well. As you can see on the right side here, Champions Kickboxing Academy, we got 1 star as well there, which I don't like. So, but not having the reviews are not good, and it's very important for you to do that. The other thing was SEO. I know a lot of you are familiar with what SEO is, but I'm not sure if a lot of you are really paying attention to it. Make sure you come up on first or second or third on a page. It's important. If you want to generate more leads, it's important to do that. And for those one of you who are really running a business and you're investing in your business, if you see that your SEO is not up there, at least do some Google AdWords. It's not really a hard thing to do. You pick some keywords, make sure that your ad shows up on top. At least if somebody's searching for karate in your business. And if you look at my competitors here, I'm looking at the first one, it's us. The second one, Universal Mixed Martial Arts, and the rest of them here. A lot of them are not showing up in SEO, right? And so, yes, people might call them, but if you look at something like that, and you look at this picture that I'm looking at right now, which business do you want to really call? The ones that has reviews that you want to read about, or the ones have 0 reviews or 1 review, right? So I think it's important that to make sure that you take care of the reviews and you take care of SEOs. If you're not familiar how to do that, I definitely suggest you to use our SEO service here. At least the guys can get you to a point that you're showing up on the first page with some of the keywords that are important to you. So if you're teaching Kung Fu in Vancouver, at least the Kung Fu in Vancouver should be a keyword within your homepage. And when we're talking about SEO, remember, SEO is not just about an expertise or a hired service that does it for you. It's actually a lot has to do with your content as well, because Google changes their algorithm all the time. And you need to work with people, first of all, who are certified, who understand Google, but at the same time, knowing how to do content for your website. The content is the key. Because if the keywords you're looking for, they've got to be part of your homepage content, they've got to be part of your header content, and how you organize that. It's important to where to show up. So I thought it was worth it that, talk a little about this, and because as I said, I was talking to someone and I noticed that, they have no idea. And if you have no idea about marketing, it's not a good thing. It's okay to, blame someone else and say, I didn't grow because, I hired this SEO company and they couldn't get me up there, or they did it first and they didn't do it. But you are the owner. You need to be responsible. You need to be watching. You're the one who's got to be knowing what's going on with your business. It's not going to go fly by itself. And even though if you hire someone else to do it for you, you still have to watch it. You still have to be aware of it. You still have to learn some of the stuff because they're really not hard to learn. And if some of you here in this webinar and you're looking at what I'm saying here and you haven't taken any action yet, they're simple to learn, go out there and do take those actions. And another thing I want to talk to you guys about is Facebook posts. I think a lot of you are probably aware of this, and if you're not, I'm really disappointed because, yes, you might have 1,000 fans on your Facebook page, and yes, you might be putting great posts out there, but if no one's seeing it, then there's no point. And the only way sometimes someone will see your post if you actually boost your post, meaning you pay for it. And make sure you do put some budget to the side and do that with your important posts. Important posts are the ones who you think is going to bring higher engagement, meaning once people see it, they like to engage with it. They come and maybe like it or write a comment for it. I think it's important for those posts to be boosted. So if you're admin of your Facebook page, if you're not, make sure you do become one. Don't let just your student to be one or our team here to be just the admin. I think you should as well be the admin of your Facebook page so you can actually see the stats and see what's going on and see what kind of reaction or engagement you're getting from your likes on your Facebook. Because, Facebook has changed rules. At first, they came out with the idea of, go get all your contacts and join your fan page and start liking you. And then once we all did that, then they came up and they said, okay, well, now because there's too many posts out there, I cannot show your post to your fans. So while we might be happy posting and thinking that everyone's going to see it, no, that's not true. No one's going to see it. Maybe 3 people, maybe 5 people, maybe 10 people. But if you want more people to see it, your own fans, you have to pay for it. And so there's a way to boost your post. Make sure you learn how to do that. Actually, it's very simple. If you're an admin, you just go there and you click on a button, you boost, and you decide how much, and it happens immediately. And that's the way to do it. There's a little guideline that you can study. So what shouldn't be in your post, what kind of graphic you're not allowed to do, but it's simple. You can learn it. And I think you definitely have to pay attention to some of these posts and try to get more engagements. And if you go as an admin, as you can see here, this post here, I just wanted to give you an example. How effective are your children's program in your school? That was a post in Champions Way Facebook page, and we reached 3,888 people with it. And I think we paid like maybe $10, $20 for this, for more people to be able to see your post. So I'm sure a lot of you already knew this, but if you didn't, it's important for you to know. We're here to talk about marketing. We're not really here to talk about just Mr. Marketer. Mr. Marketer is just a tool. It's going to help you to automate your marketing. It's going to help you to educate your students. It's going to help you to keep your students and leads engaged with your business. It's going to help you to increase referral revenue into your business. But it's not everything. Mr. Marketer should not be the only way you do your marketing. You should not stop thinking because you've got Mr. Marketer or any other service for that matter. There's other companies out there in our industry that they sell website, they sell marketing services. But, really, when you think of it, is that the only way to increase your number of members? You probably do some of this stuff already. Referral, for example, as an instructor. Make it important in your classrooms. First of all, have an announcement letter in every class that you go to. We actually print out our announcement and we put it on the mirror. So every instructor, once they finish their classes, they actually always go over the announcements. The announcement could be that we're going to be closed this Sunday, or it could be the testing's happening on Thursday, or it could be we're going to a park to celebrate, make sure you bring your friends, or it could be we'd like to ask you to invite your friends to come to our school. Ask for a referral. It's not digital marketing. It's about you asking your students to bring other students to your school. We actually have a day called Share the Art, that we do that twice a year. And we make it a school-wide campaign. We make it really important. And we share with our students a week before. We make sure that they know the date so they can bring someone with them. They can bring their friends, their parents, they can bring their co-workers. It's important. I think that's a great way to drive referral in your school. If you're not doing any print or mail out, maybe you should at least try it. I'm sure that the Postal Service, they offer these different packages that you can go out there and say, I want to send this direct mail to 500 homes. And I want to send it to 500 homes where income value is over $60,000. And they can give you some of those stats so you can put your mail in some of the places. 500 piece probably costs you $500, but it might bring actually 1 or 2 students into your school. And 1 or 2 students in your school, if you're charging, $150 a month, that's about $2,000 a year. That's about $4,000. I think it's worth it. So if you haven't tried it ever, and I would suggest you try it. Demos is a great way. We do that all the time. Make sure you get out there. I think martial arts is something so visual. People love to look at it. People like to stand to the side and watch. So the more chances you get to do that, do it. I remember when I had 100 students, I had my school was 1,600 square feet in a busy street, and I would take my students summertime right to the outside the school, and we would do kicking. I would bring these targets out there, and they start kicking it. No really planned demos, but just a little practice. We would do that for 10, 15 minutes. It would get a lot of attention. And demos in the parks, demos in the mall, demos in the theaters, keep doing the demos. You will be shocked how much leads you can get from those. So while you're trying to do pay-per-click and focus just on SEO, you never know what kind of result you can get just from demos. Now, wouldn't that be nice if you can drive 100 leads into your school? I would suggest for the schools who have over 300 students, do a combination of all this stuff. Of course, Mr.Marketer is a must, but also you've got to be able to do all kinds of campaigns in your business. You've got to have somebody who manages this. You have to have somebody who usually focus on these type of things. It could be your program director, it could be your school manager, it could be yourself if you're a smaller school, but somebody's got to focus on marketing all the time. At least you should have some type of marketing plan, monthly plan for your school. What are we going to do in January? What are the campaigns we're going to run? Is it 3 of them? Is it 5 campaigns? What are we going to do in February? Is it going to be 2 campaigns? Is it going to be 10 campaigns? Don't focus just on email. No, go out there and be creative and find ways to bring students in. To fill up a school that has 100 students, it's really easy. And if I know how to do it, you could learn how to do it. If you've got 300 students or if you have multi-location, things changes. The way you organize things, the way you have to do things changes a little bit. But plan and make sure you do have a marketing plan in your school on a board so all your staff members know about it. So they know what are things coming in January, what are things coming in February. I think it's important. Again, walk-in campaigns is something they talk about. A lot of people really don't take that seriously. And a simple thing you can do for walk-in is change your promotional things all the time outside your windows. Try different things. Bring your friend and join our school for $30. Or, it's a Mother's Day, or make sure you bring your mother for a greatest gift of lifetime. It's continuously do banners and do different things outside your school and bring in and create more promotion for people to see who are walking by. I think it's a great way for bringing people into your school and showing them what are you all about. And again, martial arts is a visual thing. People got to see it and people have to actually try it to start liking it. And if you're not doing those type of things, you should start doing that. I think it's really important. Last but not least, you're teaching great classes. You're a great instructor. Students are staying with you. Your churn rate, your retention rates are low. It's high. You can keep your students in your school. They keep coming back for more. Now you're trying to focus so much on marketing, but then you have no one to close these deals. So you need to know the percentage of the leads that come into your school, trying your classes, and not joining afterwards, because that clearly show you that where the problems are. Running a business is not really that difficult, guys. You need to get leads into your door. You need to run introductory lessons, the very best introductory lessons. Sometimes those could be within a class, or sometimes that could be private. Making sure the students feels good, they understand what your service is all about, and they're ready to take your regular classes. But that piece, I see that a lot of schools have problem right there and there. Some of the schools that we work with, they send a new lead into their regular classes, and then the person who's teaching it don't know the difference between whoever is in the classroom as a lead, or is actually a student that's been there for a while, or a student who's actually signed up for 12 months. So if you're sending a lead, a qualified lead, somebody wants to try your business and join your business, hopefully in the future, into a classroom, make sure the instructors very clearly understand that this person needs to convert within the next week or two. Not within the next month, but within the next week or two. So if you do offer a monthly introductory and people come to your school, that's okay, but try to convert them within the first 2 weeks. You don't want to wait for the last minute in the last 30 days. You can always give them that 2 weeks extra once they join your full program, but you should approach them within the first 2 weeks. And make sure that people you have there, they really know how to perform this extension conference. The extension conference comes afterwards. So first they come and try your business, try your school, try your program, whether it's an introductory class or it's a group class, they try it. Extension conference comes afterwards when you sit down with them. A week later, 2 weeks later, on the second introductory. We do still introductory in our school. It has been very successful. We charge over $150 to $200 for our membership, and sometimes higher for some of our programs. So we really like to spend time with the parents or the decision maker as well as the student for at least 15, 20 minutes at the end of the second introductory, get them to understand what our program is, why we charge the way we do, and why is it so valuable for them to join immediately. So we call that an extension conference where people come to it, and we'll sit down with them and we'll talk about it. Sometimes we do that after the second introductory immediately, and sometimes if the decision maker is not there, we make sure we do it another day. And part of the extension conference, I think I talked about that briefly in the past, is the 7 magic question. The questions you ask are the questions going to help to pre-frame those students to join your school. I thought to share some of those with you today. So, for example, how long will you be living in Vancouver area? Before you want to sit down with them and talk about your program, how much does it cost, and you should really find out, first of all, if they're going to be around, because you don't want that question to be an objection at the end of the extension conference. So you got to bring that up early on. You could sometimes ask those questions during your first introductory. Are you going to be around for a while? Are you guys planning to move? Most people say, no, I'm going to be around. Yeah, I live in Vancouver for a while, and I'm going to be around. So that's great. So I make sure that that question is asked. So later on, that doesn't become an objection. And sometimes we ask them, do you have any plan to move in the next 4 years, right? Because if they want to get a black belt, they should be there for 4 years. The second question, do you have any physical problem that might not let you train in martial arts? That's a good question to ask at the beginning when they come first introductory. Another great thing is why you should do introductory, private introductory, or 2 people introductory classes is because you really can ask those questions. You really can pay attention to the student. And if you're spending all this time and effort and money into marketing, why not to spend a little time and money and effort into doing introductory classes. When somebody joins your schools and are willing to pay over $2,000 to your school. And if somebody says, oh, I've got a knee problem, then you kind of train them to not use their knee so much. Or if they have an elbow problem or they have a shoulder injury, you're more careful now to really customize the training for them for the introductory. But if you send them to a class, you don't know that. And the third question, can you attend at least 2 classes a week on a regular basis? And if that's yes, which days are usually better for you? Let them start thinking about that now. Not that they're coming trying your school. Start pre-framing them that you want them to come Tuesday and Thursdays or Wednesday and Fridays. And I'll tell you why. Because they go home, talk to their parents or talk to their friends and talk to their partners and realize that, okay, well, if I'm going to do this martial arts, they start thinking, if I'm going to do martial arts, what days would be best for me? Maybe I should go Tuesday and Fridays. I think that works for me. These are some of the objections that you don't want to deal with at the end. You want to deal with them earlier on. So that way, once you get to sign up and signing your contract, they're ready to go. Have you set your goal to reach black belt? I know not everybody gives black belt in their school immediately, but and we all teach different things. Some of us teach jiu-jitsu. Some of us teach kickboxing. Some of us teach karate. But whatever it is, try to create a goal. Make an obtainable goal that you can clearly define for them. Whether that goal is a black belt or not, it doesn't matter. But the goal should be a 2 to 3 to 4 years goal. It should not be a 3 months goal, right? Set a goal, talk about it in your introductory lessons from beginning to end. Continuously talk about that, how important it is, why is it important you set goals, why is it that we're going to help you to achieve your goals, and what does that do to you at the end, and how's that going to help you? Make sure you pre-frame them on the goal all the time. So when it comes after an hour of lessons in 2 sessions, 2 different days, they're ready to say, yes, I want to get my black belt, or I want to reach that goal. And I think it's important for me to do that. Fifth one, does anyone else need to be involved with the decision? Obviously, when a child joins your school, you don't want to do an introductory lesson without the mom or without the dad. If that happens, it's not a good thing, because everything you go over with the child is not really necessarily the punch and kicks, but it's about how to set a goal. Why is this beneficial to you, and what kind of value you get? And I think you should be able to share those values also with the parents. When the parents come sit there and see that the things you teach to their kids, the value of $150, $200 all of a sudden becomes a lot. All of a sudden, your martial arts program is not just value $150, but it's worth over $5,000 a month. Because the things you're teaching them, they could never teach themselves, and they will never be able to learn it anywhere else. Not soccer or football or swimming or any type of sports, and no type of schools. So we're in a very good position. But make sure that the decision maker is there. The decision makers sometimes are someone who is married. I had a guy who came to my school. He was actually a lawyer. He's 45 years old. And I said, is there anybody else who's going to be involved in the decision? You know what he said? He said, my wife. I said, well, that's great. Can you do me a favor? He said, what? I said, make sure your wife comes in the second introductory lesson. He said, why? I said, because I think it's important if she supports you. If she's there, she will understand why you want to do this and why is this so important to you. And once she understands, she's going to support you even more. And when you get her support, we're going to make sure that you achieve your goal. It's important for her to be there. And the next day, when he came for intro lessons, he brought his wife. Actually, afterwards, we got his wife also joined our program. And that's so good. And I think, so having the decision maker is an important objections you're going to deal with, and you probably have if already running the school. But try to deal with it early on and find out who the decision maker is. It's been a time that a kid comes up by himself, maybe a teenager, 11-year-old or 12 years old, 13 years old, come to the school, and we actually don't perform the introductory lesson. If we have already told them that make sure your parents are with you, or make sure your grandma is with you who's paying for the program. We want to make sure that the decision maker is there. 6, have you learned our students' creed? The creed is something we have developed with the help of education funding company, and we go over that all the time in our classes. yes, some schools, some students come to our school, might not like that, but we really enjoy it, and I think it has helped us to become who we are today in our community. I intend to develop myself in a positive manner. It's a strong statement. And the CREAT really helps to really get your school to the next level. Understanding, first of all, showing to your students or new students that what are you all about and what are the things you teach, what are your beliefs, what are the things that are important in your school, what is it you want the students to achieve after 4 or 5 years in your school. It's not about kick and punch and becoming skillful in their techniques, but also what are the things that is important to your school for them to become. So, we have developed our CREAT, and we make sure that our students who come to introductory lessons, they memorize it. So if they come to a class, we'll give them a piece of paper and say, go home, make sure you memorize it before you come to the next class. The second class, we go over it again, and we make sure they learn it. And once they learn a paragraph of it even, it's something good, because that means they're committed. That means they took their time, they went home, it was important to them to memorize the CREAT, and they did it and came back the next day. So that's something that's important to us. It's not something everyone does, but it works for us. 7, the most important one. I think that you should be doing it probably on the second introductory enough, not the first introductory. Instead of sitting down with them and say, this is how much it costs, ask them first if they can budget about $100, $150, $200 a month. That's a good question. It doesn't tell them that how much your program is yet, but it tells them whether they can budget something like that. If someone say, yes, I can budget that much, then on your extension conference you're not going to have a problem, because you're going to be easily talk about your higher price programs, because this guy obviously can afford it. This person can obviously afford it. But if they say, I don't know, I really don't have a job and I'm not working, then you're going to have a different pitch at the end. Your pitch changes. So knowing who can afford your school is important. Instead of sitting in front of them and say, this is how much it costs. Now you have no chance to talk to them about your higher prices, or you have no chance to maybe get them to come once a week but pay half price, which is maybe $100 a month. So if you're trying to grow your school and every student comes to your school matters, you should have some type of price for also the ones who maybe can't afford as much. And then ask them for referral and bring other students. It's a good thing in your community to do, as well as it's a good thing for you to do for your business when you're starting up. So that's the 7 magic questions, and these are the things that we go over in our introductory lessons. And it's important for your closer or your program director or the person who is doing your selling in your school to be very aware of these questions. So you need to get a system done, a process for your introductory lessons. What are you going to go over in your intro 1? What are you going to go over in intro 2? How are you going to run your extension conference? What are the magic questions you're going to ask? And when are you going to ask them? Is it going to be on intro 1 or intro 2? And how are you going to prepare the students to be able to sign up at the end of the day? So you need a little process for this. And just sit down on a piece of paper and write them down and start organizing it. And once you do that, whoever is doing your introductory lessons, just start training them. Ingrid actually does it for our school, and she's amazing. She trains all the, and she was a person that she hated to doing sales. She's been a martial artist for years. She runs our school for years. She always hated to do the selling part. And it's amazing how great she is now training new guys doing introductory lessons. In our school, because we're a larger school, we have actually 2 program directors. So in case, we get busy or one of them is doing intro 1, somebody wants to intro 2, we can offer more classes. But she actually trains them. And I asked her to send me these 7 magic questions, and when she emailed it to me, I said, would you be interested to do a introductory extension conference for all our clients, Mr.Marketer clients? And she said, yeah, for sure. So we talked to Vahid, and actually we're going to invite her to come and do a webinar for you guys on this, specifically on this, from beginning to end. So make sure you do come to that webinar as well. Great news for all Mr.Marketer customers. We have some new contests that we're working on, and that we're more than happy to install them in your database. That will be probably get installed within the next 2 weeks, if not 30 days for sure. In all databases, it's going to be a whole bunch of brand new landing pages, better content, better graphic, and better emails. So that will be an addition. There will be no charge, obviously, for Mr.Marketer customers, and that will be added to your database automatically. We're going to be doing this on a regular basis. We have actually content writer, we have graphic designers, and we have people in the marketing that focus on making this stuff for you. So if you have great ideas that you can share, please do share it with us on our Perfect Mind Lab or on our Mr. Marketer group. I'd love to hear from you. I know that a lot of people, help us to develop these things, but it's important for you to tell us what is it that you might come up with. Somebody just told us, I think it was RJ or Key, that they were talking about, when our schools close, we don't want this I miss you letter to go out. So now we're working to fix that problem. To hear from you is important. Or somebody came to us and say, I run boxing programs just to generate more leads. Can we have some landing pages and emails for just boxing programs? So, we created those. And some of our internal product managers start thinking about, why don't we create an email for people to go and give reviews on Google for our clients. So that's a great idea. And I think these ideas can come only from you because you're in the business, you're working it all the time. We do have a lot of schools who are involved in this, but the more ideas we get, the better Mr. Marketer becomes. That's the content and emailing side. But Mr. Marketer is not really all about content and email. The technology we have built behind this, it's huge. It's amazing. The ability for us to be able to deliver these things wasn't just really about email and content. I wish it was. But we had to go out there and develop almost for 8 months a technology that can actually deliver these things properly to your members. And we're really proud of that. And today we're working on Mr. Marketer 2. Mr. Marketer 2 is going to be, again, a lot of technology behind it as well as content. The technology part, one of the things that we're really interested to do is make sure that if you're we're doing the posting for you, we're going to start using the lounge to do schedule posts. So that way you can review them. The post can be more customized to your business before he actually gets to the Facebook. So we're really excited to do that work, and we're writing a requirement for it. So, there's a whole bunch of things that we're working on the campaign management, on reporting, on the statistics, on complete dashboard for Mr. Marketer, so that way you know exactly what's going on with your business when it comes to leads and qualified leads. We love your support. Thank you very much all this time, and please keep bringing the ideas in. I don't know why these guys put my picture here. I wish I still could kick like that, but I haven't kicked like this for a while. But if you have any question except the kick itself, by all means, now is a good time. Please share those with me, and I'll be more than happy in the next 10 minutes to answer questions.
Thank you, sir. So we have some questions already. First, not a question. Is it okay to say that Farid is awesome? So that's the first one. Now, the next question. Is there a recommended resource for call scripts, objections, introductory lessons, extensions, dealing with canceling students, etc.?
So say that question again.
So is there a recommended resource for scripts, for objections, dealing with cancellations, essentially?
Actually, we do have some ourselves, and when I asked Ingrid to come and do the webinar that she wants to do, I actually asked her also to do some sharing on the info call scripts. And I will ask her again, and Keith, please remind me, to make sure that she brings all the resources and share it with all the Mr. Marketer clients who join the webinar when she comes on board. And that way we can share what we've done with everybody, and I think that would be great. But as far as the cancellation objections, there's not really resources that I can provide, but if you have a question, I can definitely answer. And again, if you want to type them out and send them in, I'll definitely pass them on, and we can respond to them and send it back to you as well, if it's more than one objection that you're trying to resolve.
Perfect. So the next question we have, it's actually from Michael Perry. How much do you recommend spending on your Facebook posts? How often?
Great question. Depending how many students you have, I'm saying if I want to get 100 students, I'm trying to get to 130, that's not a lot of students, right? And do I want to spend a lot on Facebook? Really? No. Do I want to spend more on demos? Yes. I've got Mr. Marketer. It's great. He's going to keep nurturing my leads. He's going to ask my student for referral, right? He's going to do all that. But at the same time, going out doing demos and asking your student for referrals, it's a better way of spending your time than Facebook. But if you do spend time on Facebook, I think that's important. If you're trying to build a larger school, obviously, over 300 students, but spending a lot of time is not a good idea. Because I've seen a lot of people go on Facebook, and what happens is they get distracted with photos, with messages, with this. All of a sudden, 2 hours passes, and you've achieved nothing. While your goal was really simple. I want 5 new students, right? So stick with your goals. See what your goals are, and then adjust your processes based on your goals. So spending so much time on Facebook, I don't recommend personally. If you do post on Facebook, make sure you boost them if you want everybody sees them. Otherwise, if there's not many people seeing your post, there's no point.
Okay, so we got a comment from Rich Grogan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rich. Great to have you here.
And our next question, can we have more control with landing pages and such? For instance, on the Father's Day LP, it has a testimonial about BJJ, but we don't have that.
Okay.
So the LP landing page.
Okay. I think the idea of not allowing you to change things, first of all, if you want to blame anyone, blame it on me because it was my decision. But I'll tell you what was my thought behind that. Every time I started building a website for someone and people start changing it, people came from a lot of ideas. I actually checked one of our Mr. Marketer clients' website that we had built for. I could not believe that we had built that website. Then I went to my team and I said, did you guys build this website? Why there's 10 tabs up there? For what purpose? And then I realized that the client has gone in there and changed it himself because he thought it was a good thing to do. Adding this, adding that, adding membership, adding product, adding lounge, adding lots of stuff, right? So it's having too much is not necessarily good. Now, that idea gave us the idea of when we come up with Mr. Marketer, let's get a professional content writer. Let's get a professional designer so the schools don't have to fool around with it. So that way everything is so perfect and it brings result. And then we are going to measure the results. And if a landing page is not going to be a result, we're going to kick it out of the Mr. Marketer. We're not going to keep it in there because we don't want to have anything in there that doesn't bring result. And if we have the ability to measure it for everyone together, then we'll know for sure statistically what really works and what doesn't. So, but if we allow everyone to customize everything themselves, then we wouldn't really be able to share this community statistics with you and be able to adjust the content accordingly. So that was the idea. Now that I see that there are a lot of smart people out there in the martial arts industry and that they know what to do and they know how to do things, I'm thinking, what are we going to do with Mr. Marketer to maybe allow for a little bit of adjustment? So that's something that we still have to develop on. So I think we're going to, and something that's keep coming up. And thanks for bringing it up. If more of you are interested in that, please come and share with me on Mr. Marketer Group.
Okay, so the next question we have, we've missed some phone calls for our Mr. Marketer setup. What can we do? Master Farid, I can actually answer that because we're taking care of the setup here. So what you can do is just email marketing@championsway.com. Just give us the name of the school, your phone number, and we'll contact you right away and we'll get it all set up for you.
Well, yeah, thanks, Keith. But let me talk a little bit about Sensei Nick. First of all, I think I miss the man. I sent him a text the other day. I said, Nick, I miss you. And it's honest because, you know, he worked so hard with us on this. And him not being here for us to take him the next step, you know, it doesn't feel good for me because I love to share all that with him. And he's done a great job so far. But I think in the last couple months, we've screwed up a little bit. And I can't blame anyone because it's, you know, you can always point finger, but it always comes back to you. And so what we try to do is try to find the problems and find solutions. The solution for us for setup used to take a month or 2 months to get done. Today, I'm so proud with Keith's team because we brought it in-house here now in our company, in the headquarters. And I think how long does it take, Keith, to do a setup?
We can have the setup done within about 15 minutes. It'll be up and running within 5 business days.
And that's amazing. That's an amazing accomplishment. And I'm really proud of the team here in the headquarters being able to do that. So if that's answered the question, let's go to the next one.
Okay, so we've got time for 2 more questions here. After that, if you can either email your questions to marketing@championsway.com or go to the Mr. Marketer Facebook fan page and you can post your questions there. We can have Master Farid answer some of those questions for you. So the next question is, what is your recommendation for anyone on trials? 3 classes, 2 weeks. Should they be in PM as leads or students? I think, sir, they're asking about the lead status.
Right. Well, you can keep the lead status as an opportunity if they're coming. But if you're really sending them to your classrooms and it's not introductory, I would treat them as a students. Because you want them to be treated as a student, right? Though I'm against it, I don't like to send people to group class. If they're going to pay me $2,000 or $2,500 or $3,000 in 1 year, why would I do that? You know, it's like nobody does that in other industries. But if you don't have the resources and you have a lot of students and you can't invest in getting someone to really spend 15 minutes or half an hour with someone and sending them to a group class, then in that case, if you send him to group class, it's okay to turn him into a student. However you do, just keep track. You know, your system, Perfect Mind, allows you to keep track. Whether they're qualified or there are opportunities in your school, to me, an introductory is an opportunity. Why? Because they're about to close. All those things I call opportunity.
Okay, so we apologize. There's so many questions here. We've got time for one more. One note on that too, for those of you with the Mr. Marketer Genius package, you not only have type, but you also have lead status, which you can use as well. So we're going to go with one more question, sir.
Keith, can I just interrupt you for a sec? If we have a lot of questions, it's coming in, because sorry, I can't see it in my presentation here in the boardroom. I think what we should do is I'll be more than happy to come to another webinar as well, just to do question and answer. You know, instead of me going and creating presentation, I think it's important to help the schools really based on their needs. So I'm definitely more than happy when I come back from Brazil for FIFA. I'll be more than happy to actually create another webinar, just question and answers. I think that would be really helpful. But go ahead and ask your last question.
That sounds great, sir. So the last question of the day is going to be, with Mr. Marketer, do we have to send the emails manually?
You want to take that one?
I can take it, actually. Mr. Marketer is completely automated. So no, you don't have to send them the emails manually. What we do on the setup side is we essentially find out the services that you offer, and based off that, we know what to turn on. And based off of that, when the criteria are met, Perfect Mind will automatically trigger the emails for you, so you don't have to lift a finger.
And at the same time, if you do want to send emails manually, you can also do that as well. If you want to put an email on hold, you can do that as well, and then resume it later. These are all the functionality that we'll be building in the last 3 months within Mr. Marketer.
So I want to thank everyone for coming to Master Farid's webinar. If you can, go ahead and like us on Facebook. We'll send you updates in regards to the next webinar when we'll do the question and answer. And obviously, we're going to be having weekly webinars on other topics as well. So sincerely want to thank you, Master Farid, and again, want to thank everyone for joining us.
Thank you all.